Hi guys, Carl here from Fjällräven, and today I have Sophie from our Fjällräven Classic organization.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about trail ethics. What does that mean to you?
Trail ethic has a lot of meanings, but I would say the first one is how to behave on the trail and along the trail, but also in the nature that are just outside the trail, like campsites and places like that.
Yeah. So it's like a fundamental base set of guidelines how to behave in nature, pretty much.
Yeah, in nature, but also to other people that you meet on the trail, and animals, plants, flowers, etc.
And the cool thing, I think, is quite global, right? It kind of applies to anywhere where you're out in nature around the world, pretty much.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we all have to think about how we act, and it doesn't matter where we are.
No.
I mean, of course, it depends a little bit if we are in a national park, for example, or in a protected area. There might be special restrictions.
Yeah, then they come on top, like the restrictions that apply for this specific national park or nature reserve or area where you are. But the trail ethics is like the minimum standard.
Yeah, but I hope that we can raise the minimum standard quite a lot. Yeah, so recent years I have found that the actual trails that we're walking on are quite damaged, and then they're getting worn out.
Yeah.
More and more people are coming out, and they don't really know where to put their feet. So we can actually talk a little bit about how to walk and where to walk.
You know, leave nothing but footprints, but I mean, what is a trail?
Yeah, that's a huge problem actually, because it's enough if only 25 people put their foot in one single spot. They can ruin a fantastic species of a flower or a plant or something, and they might never recover.
It starts to become a new trail.
Yeah.
So how should you behave then as a trekker?
As a trekker, you should always pick a trail that is already existing, not break new trails. That's important. If there is a footbridge or some other kind of arranged material that is made to sustain the trail, you should walk there, not to wear out the trail too much.
Talking about foot bridges, this is a quite interesting and clear example, right?
Yep, here is a perfect example of what happens. There's a good trail, and probably someone has found that it's being used too much and they wanted to protect the nature, and they built a footbridge here, but very few people use the footbridge, so they keep using the trail.
It's really responsibility that I think we have as users of trails to actually stay on trail and use the material that's being used to build a trail.
Yeah, and another thing also which is very common is when you come to on the path and you see that there's a wet hole, and then hikers normally go not straight into the hole or across the hole. They walk around, and what happens then is that the hole just gets wider and wider, and you wear out the nature more and more and more. So if you pass a hole like that, just do it. Just try to go straight ahead across as much as possible, and not walk on the sides to make it wider and wider, because that will definitely wear out the nature a lot.
Yeah, and here I think is a perfect other example of a really well beaten track, super heavy used, and you see how the rocks start actually to grow up through the ground, and it's harder to find nice places to plant your feet.
If this trail would have been in the forest, it would
like
probably
on a mountain,
have been a mountain trail or something. It would have been wider. People would have gone outside to find the easier way to walk.
Yeah, exactly. Another situation where you affect the ground is, of course, when you pitch your tent. Maybe you would find the tent spot something looking like this, but what would you think about this?
Well, it looks good at the first sight. I mean, it's not. It's quite flat and looks soft and nice. But the thing here is that no one have been here before and pitched a tent, and it's not used, so it's not a broken up ground. So that would be quite bad choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Apart from the fact that we actually are in a national park, so it actually is a ban on camping right here.
but another option is to find a ground where it's already you have see that someone has been camping and you can see
Where
that,
it's an established campsite.
yeah.
But ideally, not to leave any footprint from the tent. What would you look for? What kind of ground would you want to pitch your tent on?
Actually rocks.
Yeah.
You never leave any trace, and on
Sand.
sandbanks or where there's some kind of gravel or
Not,
yeah.
where there's not much growing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. When pitching the tent, it's very common that people use rocks or pieces of wood or something else to secure the tent, so it's stable and good pitched. But one thing that can be good to think about is to always be very thorough and put those things back so that you don't leave rocks and pieces of wood just lying around on the campsite. Always put them back on the same spot.
But if you find yourself in a situation then where there are no trails and you need to cross a area with very few trails or no trails, how would you think then?
Then I would try to find a ground which is not so vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like rocky terrain, for example, and take a short stretch as possible.
Yeah. And also maybe spread out if you're in a group, so you don't walk put your feet in the same exact spot, so you disperse a little bit over an area.
Yes, definitely, and that's a little bit strange because we just said to stay
Yeah.
on the trail, but in that case you can spread out a little bit because then you would leave less trace and not so many people will follow exactly those trails and will make a new trail.
Yeah, you're less likely
Yeah.
to break new
Yeah,
trails that
yeah,
way.
Yeah, for sure.
And I always say that the fastest one on the trail need to be the kindest. So like if you're running, you need to be more considerate towards walkers and trekkers, and if you're on a mountain bike, you need to be even more considerate to the people that you meet.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy into that.
It's a good way of thinking.
Making it easy for others not to break new trails should be the guiding principles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like to summarize, in Sweden we have the right of public access,
Yes.
which kind of embraces trail ethics in a way. And in a very short format, it says like don't disturb anything and don't destroy anything on the trail. And with each liberty, there is always a responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think that is what it comes down to be responsible when you're out and take care of the nature, because we have only like one planet.
Yeah. Leave no trace.
Thanks for watching. And if you like this, we have also other films on trail ethics that you can watch. And then you, as usual, click like and subscribe. And we hope to see you out on the trail real soon.